This is the result of getting in touch with Vortex. Oh no, these little styrofoam things meant mice for me earlier. I gotta get rid of these. So I dealt with this woman. Her name was Colleen from Vortex. And as you may already know, I was extremely disappointed that not only my Spark 1 failed, but also my Spark 2, which was a brand new sight. The Spark 1 failed because the housing, like on the side, I was spray painting, on the side kind of snapped off. It made it to where I couldn't push the power button on the side. And it also made it to where, for some reason, it just wouldn't turn on even if I could find that button. So, not only that one also experienced the sort of the battery flickering issue. If you would shoot the gun, like the red dot would actually just kind of like visibly flicker, and then it would stop, and it would become solid again. The solution is to tighten the battery cap more, so I tightened it more, but it didn't help. So I ended up actually putting like something like this, like an O-ring in between the battery and the battery cap. So, and that actually fixed that issue. So the main issue was that I couldn't turn it on. So on the second one, I was in the snow and I was adjusting the windage and elevation and stuff, and I'm assuming some moisture got in there. I don't know if that's the case. Either way, I went to go shoot it and the dot wasn't there. It wasn't there at all. And I thought maybe it timed out because both of them have a built-in timer. They have a built-in timer for, I think it's like an hour or 30 minutes or something like that. And after that, the sight will turn off by itself. I went to go push the up button, which is the on button on the Gen 2 Spark, and it was non-responsive. I went to go push the down button. That didn't do anything. So I finally got the sight back on after, I think, 3 hours or so. But the up button still wasn't, it was intermittent. It would work sometimes and sometimes it wouldn't. On the Spark 1, there is a night vision button, an up button, a down button, and an on button. But on the Spark 2, there's only 2 buttons, so there's not really much that can go wrong. The up button is on button, and then also to turn it up. And then when you cycle all the way down, it goes to night vision. So yeah, so I finally got it operational again. I mounted it back on my rifle, and this is by the time I got home, not while I was out shooting. I guess I got frustrated and I couldn't complete the test, but I got home and I got it working again. So I mounted back to my rifle and then went to go test it out again on my rifle. Not like shooting, but just kind of like looking through it just to kind of confirm that it's working again, and it didn't work for another hour or so. I finally got it working again. So at that point, I was just done with it. It's unreliable. I can't trust it. So I started looking at alternatives, but I still like Vortex optics. I love their warranty. So anyway, I got a hold of Colleen, and she says, "Hi, Douglas. I tested the scope before shipping. Thank you." First of all, they threw in this T-shirt because I asked if they could ship me a kill flash for this. This is a really cool optic, but I asked if they could ship me a kill flash, and they don't make one currently for it. The shirt, because they kind of sent it in place of a kill flash. They asked me. I told them. I said, "Can I please trade these 2 optics in? You know, I don't trust them anymore. I don't want to get a new one and then have the same thing happen." So she talked to her manager and asked if that was possible, and we worked something out. So she's like, "Well, what would you like? You know, and we'll work it out." And this is all without receipts and everything. This is just me sending the optics in, the Spark 1 and 2. No accessories. I didn't send the bases in. I didn't send any batteries with it. Actually, they tell you to remove all that stuff. I didn't send any scope covers. Just the 2 optics. I got to the point to where I knew what I wanted. So I was like, I don't know. I like both of your optics. I like the Spitfire 1 and the Spitfire 3 times. And she was like, "Well, you know, which one do you like? And we can work this out for you." So I ended up going with the 1x, and the reason I went with the 1x is because I already have this one, and I love it. And I'll go over why I love this optic with you. But I could have got the 3x, and because it's more expensive, and then I could have sold it and then made some money back, and then bought this one again, and then still had money left over. I could have done that, but that would have been a hassle, and it would have taken a while to sell it. So I just didn't think it was worth it. Like, why not get the one that I want straight up? And their retail price for this is $400, even though you can find it for like $180. But you know, I basically traded in 2 sites worth a total of like, you know, over $400 for this, which I could have got basically for $200 or less, but they sell it for $400 from their website. So in their eyes, it was a fair trade. But anyway, let's open this up. It comes with some paperwork, some kind of documentation, and a little lens cleaning cloth. And you all know that gets lost immediately, and you never use it ever. So this is just going over some of the features and whatnot. That's the kind of stuff you read when you're the owner of it, not like when you're doing a video review. So this is the optic itself, and we'll set that aside and see what else it comes with. It comes with some screws for the different base that it has. It comes with a little tool in case you don't have one yourself. And that's just the rest of it's just the box. So this is the Vortex Spitfire, and it is a prism-based scope, as you may know from watching my other videos. So the reticle is actually etched into the glass, similar to a scope rather than a red dot. You know, so it doesn't matter if the battery fails. It doesn't matter if the electronics fail. You can still see a reticle very clearly, as long as it's daytime or dusk, you know, like not at night so much. Maybe if you had like a flashlight mount on your gun, you could still see the reticle, but you're not out of the game, basically. As long as there's still some light somewhere, you can see through this, and it's usable. So it doesn't matter if the electronics fail or you know, they just crap out, if the battery dies, it doesn't matter. And comes with some scope caps, and these are actually pretty nice. And on the other one, I actually keep these on there. Usually I take them off like as soon as I get them. So what's cool about the Spitfire is it's cool with people that have astigmatism or just eye problems in general. If you look through a red dot and it doesn't look like a circle to you, it looks like ovalish or kind of like distorted, you have eye problems, and that's why the dot doesn't look clear to you. And I didn't know that until a little while ago, because I just thought I was buying low quality red dots this whole time, so they weren't like, you know, they weren't perfectly round. But my friends looked through them and they're like, yeah, they look great, you know. And with the Vortex too, they're not like dirt cheap sights, but they're cheap for what they are. But you know, I couldn't even look through any of my Vortex optics without seeing like an oval, and it wasn't like an oval like straight up and down. It was like an oval like sideways, like diagonally. So when I was zeroing, it's visually confusing, you know, to when you do quick acquisition, like to determine where the center of that oval is, rather than you know, a circle. It's just a little bit more confusing, like a split second difference. You have to kind of adjust for it. But this actually has you can already kind of see the reticle there. But this actually has an adjustment to where you can actually adjust it for your specific eye. So if the dot is blurry to you or something far away is blurry to you, you can actually adjust it. And it's hard to see it when you're not actually here, but when you look through it, you don't actually see this much. Your brain ignores it, you know. But it's a really cool optic. It's a red and green dot. So, and it 5 different brightness settings for each. Actually, brightest for 5, and so far I've been on super bright days and I can see both reticles. So yeah, and the cool thing about a lot of the optics the Vortex puts out, if they have any kind of turrets that are adjustable with like a screwdriver or whatever, a lot of times on the cap itself they'll have the tool, and since they're wired on to the actual optic itself, you can never lose your tool unless you know, break the cable. But yeah, you can never lose it, and then you just flip it around, and then you know, you do your adjustments. Very nice, aggressive knurling on these turret cap covers. The base is proprietary, so you're not going to find a base that works with this. But luckily, this is I think this is the lower 1/3 base, so like the sights will be just a little bit in the lower 1/3 of the scope, so you'll be able to see over the sights with this, but still be able to use your backup iron sights with this setup. If you have an AR, but if you remove this little middle portion here, and then just mount this sight directly to the base, and that's what these screws are for, then you can actually get a pretty decent cheek weld on an AR. And that's how I prefer it, because the reason I got this is because I don't want to run backup iron sights, and I want it to be as light as possible, be as simple as possible. It's not a foolproof method to run backup iron sights when you have a red dot or something like that, because you're planning on it failing, right? So it doesn't cover all bases. Like if it fails just the battery and you can still see through it, yeah, you can use your backup iron sights. But if it gets smashed, or you drop your gun into a rock or something, and the glass gets all smashed and you can't see through it still, you can't see your backup iron sights. So if they're in line with the scope, you have to do something about it. You'd have to like smash your sight off your gun or something like that. But so that's my thinking on it. But I did get this because, you know, I worried about not being able to go through with my day of shooting, whatever I choose to be doing, if my dot fails me. So this makes it to where it is impossible for it to fail. Not only that, but that reticle is super clear. Like if you see these in real life, like it looks blurry on this camera in some ways, but if you actually look through it with your eyes, like it is the clearest reticle ever, like on like a 1x magnification sight that I've ever looked through. You know, I'm trading 2 sights for 1 basically. so they knew that they needed to kick it up. But I mean, it's a pretty nice shirt. I'm not really into this kind of military sort of pattern, but I'll definitely wear this, and it's a great color. I love gray. So yeah, so this is my new optic, and I will be mounting it on my Airsoft M4, because I actually had the spark on this before. I know this looks a lot like my real AR, and because I actually built that real AR from parts that looked reminiscent of this one, and I wanted to have a similar size, everything. So when I'm actually playing Airsoft, I won't be like messing up what I train for when I'm using my real AR, and vice versa. So I'll be able to have a similar setup, both in feel, weight, size, and optics. You know, like as my real AR. So I won't be, you know, messing up anything I train for. I do highly recommend Vortex optics, even though I don't like the sparks anymore. But that's just from my personal experience. I know so many other people that have not had anything like that happen to them. I have bad luck with a lot of things in my life, and I don't know if it's karma for something or what, but they did treat me well, and I basically got what I wanted. A little bit less. I would have much rather traded 2 sparks for 2 of these Spitfires, but these are much more expensive, and I know that. Please like, please subscribe, please comment, please share. All that stuff really helps me out. And if you have any questions, like I said, yeah, throw it in the comments, email me, whatever. Hope you enjoyed, and see you in a future video.